A young man sits down at his computer at 5 p.m. as part of his daily routine to watch a couple hours of YouTube videos. By this time in the day, he is usually tired, anxious, and unmotivated. He knows this, but has never done anything to change his circumstances and feelings. But today is different. Today, he decides to seek guidance on his problems through YouTube. He binge watches many different popular self-improvement channels, all of which seem to have a solution to each of his problems. Eventually, this person's YouTube recommendation contains nothing but self-improvement content. And that's when he is finally presented with a video that has a word he's never discovered before, and that word is nofap. He decides to click on the video and is instantly awestruck with the possibilities that come from this new practice. Women attraction, more energy, more muscle, more confidence, the benefits seemed endless. He's instantly hooked and needs to know more. The next 4 hours of his life is dedicated to watching more nofap benefits videos and scrolling through the subreddit for motivation, and before he knows it, it's 10 p.m. and it's time to get ready for bed. As he gets into bed, he's eager to start his first official day of nofap and see all those positive benefits that everyone was preaching about. The days pass by him and he thinks he can feel it working. He's never had so much motivation and energy to do the right things in his life. He's not afraid to talk to new people and adopts more healthy habits. By day 23, he feels like an entirely new man. But then, tragedy strikes. As he's looking for more nofap content to shove down his throat, he sees a thumbnail with an attractive woman in it. Before he knows it, and without his own control, he's opened up an incognito tab and done what he wished he'd never do again. He's relapsed. As he wakes up the next morning, he's convinced that everything feels the way it was before he decided to watch that first video. He feels like he's lost all the progress he's made in the past 3 weeks, and because of this, he beats himself up so much to the point where things are even worse than before he started his journey of not whacking. And he can't shake this mindset no matter how hard he tries. This is the story of a person who is not only brainwashed, but someone who is way too hard on themselves. If there's one thing that I've learned in this space of self-improvement and seeing all the DMs and messages and comments that I get, it's that all of you guys are way too fucking hard on yourselves. And it's to such an extreme point that anything that you deem to be negative that you do intentionally or unintentionally will affect you for days, months, or even years. So let me share with you some of the things that I've realized when it comes to being too hard on yourself. The first thing I realized about being too hard on myself was that my learned thought patterns greatly dictated my physical and emotional reactions to my mistakes. This is because your behavior of beating yourself up too hard for something you've done wrong was most likely developed when you were young and is now etched in your brain with permanent marker through repetition. Let me know if this sounds like you. Perhaps as a young child, you weren't afraid to try anything new. You explored whatever there was to life to experience life in its fullest, even if that exploration led you to sadness, pain, sorrow, or failure. Well, eventually later down the line, you had teachers, parents, and friends criticizing you in the wrong way for making a mistake or doing the wrong thing. They would say things like, "How could you be so stupid? Look at what you did. Now you're worse because of it, and that was wrong of you to do." If this is the most common reaction other people are giving to your mistakes as a child, this is going to be your most common reaction to your mistakes. And the key to overcoming this is finding the root of these thoughts and replacing them. So let's use nofap again as an example. Oh my god, he said the word nofap. See, that reaction right there is going to be part of the reason why relapsing affects you so much. When I became immersed in the idea of nofap, what people were telling me online is that when you release, you lose all your energy and your confidence and your ability to attract women, all of that. And because there were so many of these videos that I would watch on a regular basis, I started to take this information as truth. And in a way, it was the truth, but only from my subjective experience. Because I associated doing the thing with your thing with the word relapse. Now, what is the term relapse usually used for? Usually, we use this term for someone who has a serious addiction to something. While I may have been addicted to adult websites during my late teens, once I got into my early 20s, I really did not choke the chicken that much. But once I got into the nofap culture, anytime I would do that, I would consider it a relapse. And this word has an extremely negative connotation to it. It sounds like you've committed a terrible act. So when I did relapse, and I told myself that I relapsed, all the emotions I associated with the word relapse would take me over, and that was the main reason that releasing felt so awful when I did it every week or two, not the actual release itself. So here's what I had to do to transform this reaction. Firstly, and I mean this is pretty obvious, I just had to stop consuming so much of this content. Having a serious attachment and obsession to almost anything can cause an extreme negative overreaction if you do not abide by the rules of that thing or you lose said thing. Secondly, I started catching these thoughts when they arise if I did end up doing it. I noticed that I said things like, "There goes all your progress. I can feel that I'm less powerful. I feel like no woman want me now and things are harder to do." When I caught these thoughts, I'd write them down on a piece of paper or in my journal. Then directly under them, I wrote the more positive thought response that was necessary. Instead of, "There goes all my progress," I started saying, "This does not make me any different of a person than I was before I did it." Instead of, "I can feel that I'm less powerful," I said, "Has anything really changed? Nah, I'm just as powerful even if I did accidentally manage to do this." Instead of, "I failed," I say, "This is a challenge and challenges make me better." Stuff like that. And it's important to know that some things that you do will almost be like a step back in a way and not good for you. And I'm not giving you an excuse to like do bad things. I'm just telling you that if you beat yourself up too much and you don't know how to learn from your mistakes and to take that as a positive thing in a way, then mistakes just affect you so much more negatively than they need to. Like, so many people don't understand that growth and progress in life, it doesn't look like just a straight linear line going up. It looks like this, just boom, 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 stupid, but it's still like going up in a way. And I noticed that the more that I stepped away from that community and the more that I focused on how I felt instead of how I thought after doing it every once in a while, I realized I was massively overreacting and I just went about my day as if nothing happened. The length of time in which it will take you to learn this will be different for everybody based on how badly you were condemned for doing the wrong things or making mistakes, but I promise you that it can be done. And what will make this easier for you to do is to start to adopt some sort of mindfulness meditation practice, because that allows you to catch your thoughts easier when they arise and treat them without judgment. So I'll just leave some links to some guided meditations on YouTube below, or like apps that you can use that are free too. You guys know I love my meditation. The other thing that I realized about my inability to be less hard on myself was my complete lack of ability to forgive. To forgive not only myself, but others too. People don't realize that forgiveness is one of the most powerful skills that you can adopt. But many people regard it as a weakness because you're just letting people take advantage of you if you forgive them too many times. But that is far from the definition of forgiveness that I'm talking about. There are people in this world who have done me very dirty and caused me trauma that I still kind of have till this day. And although I never want to see them again or hang out with them again, I do forgive them. Being stepped on and taken advantage of is a weakness, but deeply and truly forgiving someone, no matter how wrong they did you, and then walking away from them is a sign of extreme courage and strength. And as a result, it makes it much easier for you to forgive yourself too. This is because many of the bad things we see in people are often a reflection of the bad things that we suppress within ourselves. Oftentimes, when someone makes a mistake and you can't forgive them for it, it's because you lack the ability to forgive yourself for making similar mistakes. If you truly did something that you believe was negative to you or others, then the first step that you need to take is to acknowledge that you did this and take accountability for it. Allow yourself to feel those emotions that come with your mistake. It's natural for everybody to feel this way after they've done something that they're not happy with. As soon as you label the mistake as wrong and as you getting worse, that's when the mistake starts to damage you physically and mentally more than it needs to. Instead, just allow yourself to accept the mistake without passing judgment onto it. And do this same process if someone has done something wrong to you. And then tell yourself, or tell this person or people, I mean, you can actually tell them, or you can just say it out loud and express it to yourself, that yes, I forgive you. I understand that all human beings are fundamentally flawed and that we all do fucked up shit sometimes, and that's just a part of life. Life is unjust and you're just gonna get shit on sometimes or do the wrong thing. And expecting perfection from yourself or from other humans is just expecting us to be robots, basically. And this is why I needed to tell you the first realization that I had before I told you this one. Because when you realize it was mostly other people's opinions and statements that they gave you as a child that made you have this sort of reaction to negative things, you might start to want to condemn them and not forgive them and blame them and play the victim for you being this way. But you must learn to forgive them and acknowledge that it's up to you to change these thoughts within yourself, not them. Repeat this process until you really feel that weight come off. Because each grudge that we hold within ourselves, whether it's about us or other people, is weighing you down and making it much more difficult for you to keep walking forward. And when you start to apply this process, putting one foot in front of the other will become effortless. Okay, yo guys, just wanted to make a quick announcement at the end of this video. A lot of you guys don't know that I have a self-help book that I wrote a year ago. It's called The Middle Way: How to Strategically Use Laziness to Enhance Your Creative Power. Now, I usually have physical books and ebooks on my website, but right now I only have ebooks, and it's 20% off until the end of Sunday or Monday. I'm not sure when I'm gonna do it yet, and when I put up this video, I think there will only be like 1 day left in the sale, and I'm doing something special with it. So these are like the only two physical copies that I have. So if you buy the ebook version of this, I'm gonna pick one person who buys the ebook version to win a signed copy of the physical version, and I'll just send it out to you completely for free. So if you want to take part in the chance to win a physical signed copy of my self-help book, then go to the link in the description. And thank you to all my patrons on this channel on Patreon. If you don't know what this is, it's a platform where I'm putting out exclusive videos and podcasts you can't find anywhere else. If you want to check that out, it's in the description as well. But that's it for this video. Goodbye, everybody. Hope that this helped.